Hello everyone, welcome to Hellfire Citadel. I'm going to be running through the raid to see if it's worth running through in terms of gold to see how much money you can make. Now, I did loot 3 items and like 3 gold from the Hellfire Assault encounter, but I don't really consider that like the first boss, but I will have a video on how to solo that. So here we are at the Iron Reaver, the boss that I consider the first boss of the raid here, of course. Now we are on 10-man normal mode. And I am a 915 item level at level 110. Now I did say this is on 10-man normal mode because this is actually quite a challenging raid if you compare it to the other raids in the same expansion. So if you've seen my previous videos, I've been through a couple of other raids that are in the Warlords of Draenor expansion, and I was doing those on 10-man heroic mode, and this is on 10-man normal, and there is quite a difference. The 10-man heroic mode of the older raids are not up to par with the 10-man normal mode of Hellfire Citadel. It's like a whole step up in terms of difficulty. And the Hellfire Assault can be pretty tricky to solo because of all the mobs that you have to control. If not, they'll get all crazy, and yeah, it's just a whole nother story and a whole nother video for that. So that alone is pretty difficult, especially because it is the first thing in the raid, so of course the rest of the raid is going to be much harder than that. I guess it depends on the bosses though. But one thing to note is you see here there's a lot of mobs that I'm killing, and out of all those that I just killed, only one of them dropped some money. As you see, not everybody drops something, and you have to be going through plenty of these guys. Let's say like 2 out of like 20 people drop some gold. Like, that's a problem. That's really inefficient if you're here for the main goal, which is to make some gold. Now the second goal would be maybe find some cool transmog gear, but of course the primary idea of doing these runs is to see how much gold you can make. And if half of the mobs are not dropping anything, of course that limits how much money you can make. Now most of the bosses in the raid are pretty easy to solo. There are just a couple of them that can prove to be a little tricky just because of their mechanics or even their health pool. You know, because the bosses here have a pretty large health pool, and if you run out of cooldowns and you know you get overwhelmed in situations like that, you can get pretty close to dying before you're able to take down the boss, like you see in this situation. But then other bosses like this one here, the Soulbound Construct, is way too easy. First you fight the Construct, right? Which doesn't have too much health to begin with already. So you can easily take him down as he has no tricks or schemes or anything. That's a pretty straightforward fight. And then you have the soul of this guy that you have to fight as well, who also does not have too much health. It is very easy to take down as well. He has no tricks or schemes either. It's just a straight up bar fight in this point of view. And you can take him down easily, even without popping all your cooldowns or being in a rushed pace. It's really not a challenging fight at all. But again, there are some bosses and even some things that can prove to be challenging just because the fact that you're trying to solo it. Like this part, for example, you have to close down these demon portals because it will just keep spawning and spawning an infinite amount of demons unless you close down the portals. Now the problem is there are some melee demons that will hit you and prevent you from being able to shut down the portal. So you have to kill those demons quickly, and then try to kill some of these imps on the side as well to give you enough time to break down the portal. So if you're taking range damage, it won't stop you from breaking the portal. And there's a total of 4 portals, so that can take you a few minutes or so depending on how lucky you get and how quick you're able to close down the portals. But I'm skipping to the last boss here, Archimonde, which did pose as a true challenge here on 10-man normal mode. I have to honestly say that it took me, I don't know, like 10 attempts or something, like really a long time to take down Archimonde. Because at first you can of course burst him down to about 60% health. I guess it depends on how well geared you are and how powerful your class is. At about this point you can see I kind of ran out of cooldowns and my energy is gonna go really low, and I'm gonna run out of things to do to try to kill him. So I hit a brick wall in that sense, that I have like no more damage output in terms of burst or long term really. At this point you see my health is gonna go down really quickly as he has a bunch of enemy minions with him. He has all these AoE abilities. Your health just starts shooting down, and you have the dots on you as well. As you see, I'm basically dead at this point. Archimonde is really close to death, 6%. I don't know how I did it, but I got lucky, and I finally took him down after like the 10 attempts that it took me or whatever. So I died plenty of times, and I was finally so happy to see that it took Archimonde down. I was still in a little shock. I was like, did I really take him down? So I loot the 8 gold that all the bosses drop, and then I get some 3 pieces right here. Usually range between 2 or 3 pieces depending on the boss or so. And you see the time, it's 1:30 p.m. I started this raid at like 12, so it took like an hour and a half to get through this raid, which is pretty crazy. But if you see in my bags, I have about 40 pieces, as you see here. A lot of gear, and of course they're worth a lot of money, so you sell all those up, and that's where you're getting most of your gold from here. You're not going to get a lot of gold from the mobs. It's all going to be straight from the items dropped from the bosses. So I'm at 46,880 after just looting bosses, and then I have a 287 gold repair bill. But of course that just depends on you, how many times you die. I died a lot just at the face of Archimonde, so I'm going to say I'm already at a loss just from that. I've made no money at that point, but after selling that, I jumped all the way back up to 47,556. Now after doing all of the calculations, it only led me to a profit of 1,091 gold, and I only looted 128 gold from the bosses and the mobs, and the rest of the gold came from the item pieces. So in my opinion, it is not worth running Hellfire Citadel if you're in it just for the gold, because it's very inefficient, as it could take you, I would say, at least an hour minimum, and of course that can fluctuate much higher depending on which bosses give you trouble or how quickly you can just get through the raid in general. So 1,091 gold is not worth it, but of course that could be more if you die less. You could of course get more money than that, but maximum profit I could have had, let's say I didn't die at all and I didn't pay the 287, that would give me a total of 1,378. So about 1,400 gold in about an hour and a half. That is not worth the run for gold. Maybe for transmog if you really want something, but if you're trying to get some extra gold, it is not worth it. Anyways, thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you in the next one.